Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so I thought that I would start a different way today because I had to bring out blankets and all other kinds of stuff. So I thought that I would show you behind the scenes of Get Ready With Me of how I start my vlog every day. Are you guys ready? Okay, so first of all, because of the rain and the snow last night, here I'll show you on this chair over here. I put the cushions up because I knew that I was going to come out here and vlog today, so I didn't want them to be like soaking wet. So I still have the cushions up. So let me put the cushions down. So they are, well, they're cold. They're freezing cold. We got to turn the pillow sideways. I was just thinking that I need to replace and put all of my Christmas stuff out today. And then I brought a scarf with me today, which I will show you. And I brought mittens, not gloves, and I brought the blanket. Okay, so then I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna close the door because everybody gets so confused about this door, they don't understand it. Oh, hey, sweetie. You guys go upstairs and hang out with your dad, and I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so then I close the door. Then I come over here, and I sit down. Ooh. Ooh, mama, this chair is cold. This chair is cold. Okay, we got all of the winter weather accoutrements today. So then I get all of my stuff out and ready to go. Hold on a second. The wind is coming up the back of this shirt today. Okay, all my accoutrements. Well, I have the lighter for the candles. And then, which is not even dark enough yet. I have my phone, which I'm gonna have to keep in my pocket. Did I not bring out reading glasses? Oh, I did, thank God. My reading glasses, and then look, in my little pocket in here, I have another battery in case the battery dies. So then I sit here, and then I go, once I have all my stuff out, I go, hello, hello, hello. That's the behind the scenes of how I get my vlog started. Now, I have to tell you, I know you guys are probably like, well, you're wearing a jean jacket. No wonder it's cold. Can I just tell you, so this is a Levi's. I've had this for a couple years. This is like a Levi's jacket with a Sherpa inside of it. So today when I was getting a coat out of the closet to go to brunch, I was like, well, I'm wearing a flannel. This is kind of the vibe. I love this coat so much. We'll put it up like that. Look at that. Don't I look like the Marlboro Man on a horse? No, I definitely don't. But anyway, I love this coat so much. And I never wear it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear it. When I got this originally, it was so tight on me. I think I got it on sale at the Edinburgh Outlet Mall at the Levi's store. When I got it I don't know where I got this, but I got it on sale. I could not even button it. And now it like fits comfortably. So I was like, I'm going to wear this today. Well, we got outside and Alex has this big like puffy like red plaid coat on. It's actually my coat that I got. For those of you that have watched me for years, we went God, this has now been like 7 or 8 years ago. We went Black Friday shopping to the Edinburgh Outlet Mall. People that watch my videos came down there and met me and stuff like that. That was such a fun year. But anyway, we went to Abercrombie and I got 2 coats and they were like literally, I think I showed them in like a haul or something. They were like $9 each. They were like marked down from like $250 to like half off to then like 30 off. I got them for like $9 or $10 each. They were, or 15, they were ridiculous. Well, one of them is this red plaid coat. It still doesn't fit me. It's too small for me, but Alex wears it. It's really cute. It's like red plaid, like puffer coat with a hood on it. So anyway, he had that on today, and I was like, gotta put my phone in my pocket really quick. Here, let's just do a time and temperature check really quick before I put my phone away. It's currently 3:45 p.m., and let's see what the temperature is outside. It's cold. Oh, I was gonna bring my hat too, and I didn't. Woo, baby. Well, I think it's exactly what it was 2 nights ago. It is 25 degrees in Indianapolis right now. Cold temperatures will result in the risk of frozen pipes tonight. Take steps to protect pipes from freezing. Okay. What's the coldest it's supposed to get tonight? Let's see. 24, 23. I mean, not a whole lot colder. And tomorrow it looks like it's going to be a little 30. Oh, it's supposed to be a high of 38 today. That's not happening. Tomorrow a high of 32. So it's cold out here. I might have to stop and go get my other hat for my ears, but I also brought my scarf with me. So anyway, we were in the car, and I put this coat on, and I was like, well, we're just going in and out of brunch, and then I had to go to the pet store to get some more dog food, which I bought 2 bags this week because I was like, okay, you're going to be smart about this. Well, and I looked, and it said, buy one, get the second one off 25% off. So I was like, okay, that's smart. So I got 2 bags of the dog food, so we're set to go. And we still have like a third of a bag. But anyway, I was in the car and I was like, this coat is like surprisingly warm. And Alex is like, because of the Sherpa inside of it, this coat is actually warmer than, and I'm going to button it up now that I like it with like the flannel shirt. I just think it's real cute and stuff like that. Here, we need a cute little thumbnail with this little cute little outfit, don't we? Okay, I'll never remember what that is. And it's not even that cute. But anyway, I need to button it up. I didn't button it up for brunch, but button it up, baby, button it up. Yeah, this coat is like surprisingly, maybe I should put my phone in the pocket right here. No, it doesn't really fit. This coat is surprisingly warmer than my North Face coat that I wear out here. Isn't that crazy? And then I also have, oh, this guy is out here working in these people's yard today. Oh my God, in this cold, I feel so bad for him. Okay, so I also have the winter blanket. I know it's hard to believe, but I have socks on. I think I showed them in a haul. The brand is called 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Latte. Now that I bought them, ads come up for me all the time. And I was just telling our friend this at Patashoe. So she and I were talking about a friend of ours that we have in common who like never shows up on the Facebook for me, this friend of ours. And ever since she and I were talking about it last Sunday, this friend is like, every time I get on Facebook, her stuff shows up for me. I didn't look for her. That day I did not go in and I didn't look for her. We just had a conversation about it. She's like, that is so strange. She was like, because it keeps on showing up on mine too. I was like, you just speak something into existence now with the algorithm. Okay, before I put my mittens on. These are mittens, right? Are these mittens? Well, they're kind of like fake mittens because they don't have the end of it. Because, oh, there's my neighbor. But see, I can put my hands in it and then I can, so they're like the open. Aren't those so cute? Look. With the flannel and the scarf. Look at the scarf, it's so fantastic. I think Mel made me this scarf. Where did the scarf go? Here. Mel made me, I have the other one inside, it's like black and gray that Mel made me, but I think Mel made me this scarf too. Ooh, this scarf is so warm. Okay, I just wanted this around my neck because I've got this shirt like, okay. I mean, who says you can't be an outside vlogger and be fashionable at the same time? And then I can bring it up over my ears if I get cold and things like that. Okay, but first of all, oh, you know what, though? I can use the lighter with these. But now my fingers are kind of cold, but I can bring them over like this. Aren't those cute, though? Do you remember I got those last year? I hardly ever used them last year, but I got those last year. So anyway, look at this whole look. Oh, now the lighter doesn't want to work because it's too cold out here. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Come on, we need you. We need candlelight out here. It didn't do anything. We got one candle lit. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? We did not get a snowstorm last night. Like when I was vlogging, it started. Okay. Ah. When I was vlogging last night, the snow started, but then it really never like picked up traction. Like it snowed a lot, like for like that 5 or 10 minutes, and then it stopped. When I got done last night, well, so like Alex texted me while I was vlogging, and he was like, I'm getting ready to go. He was like, I'm like on my way home, getting ready to leave. They had ordered food last night. I felt so bad for him. They had ordered food, and they had been like waiting for it forever, and it like never showed up. And so he came out when I got done vlogging, I called him. He's like, I'm getting ready to leave and come home. And he was like, tell me about it. He's like, we ordered this food and blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, but we can just order something when I get home. And I said, well, you guys, like, you were going to whatever. And I was like, just order food there. He goes, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I've got stuff here to eat. I said, I like to walk anyway. I said, I want to take a walk and then take a shower and whatever. And he said, okay. He's like, so you don't care? And I said, no, because they were going to order from somewhere else. They ended up ordering from Taco Bell. They ended up first ordering Thai, and then the Thai never came. So anyway, and then they ordered Taco Bell. So I was like, no, just stay over there. So anyway, I went on my walk. It was a very, very short walk last night. It was like 35 minutes. I just like, it was too cold out last night, and it was just like I was getting wet and stuff like that. So I came home, took the dogs outside, did all that kind of stuff. Then I took a shower and whatever. And like when I got out of the shower, Alex got home. And so he was like, oh, you want to watch this movie and stuff like that? I was like, I really want to take a nap, truth be told. I said, he was like, are you sure? And I was like, do you care? He's like, I don't care if we don't watch these rom-coms tonight. He's like, we've got the whole month of December to watch them. I was like, I know. I said, but I kind of wanted to watch one to review for Monday on my channel. I said, but do you care if we watch it tomorrow? He was like, no, I don't care. We can watch it tomorrow. So we're going to watch them tonight instead. So he is on. So when I was taking my nap, he watched like the 5th and the 6th episode of All's Fair. I took a long nap last night. I don't know, like I filmed so many videos this week and was doing all kinds of stuff. Oh my God, look. Who is walking their dog today? That's my favorite. Hey, how are you? Good. That's my favorite neighbor. It's their dog, but it's like somebody younger walking their dog. I don't know who it is. Maybe they're out of town or something. But anyway, I took like a really, really long nap last night. It was fantastic. I don't know, the dogs were really tired last night too. So I don't know, maybe it's the cold or something like that. I have no idea. But anyway, so Alex was watching All's Fair. I woke up and he was so sweet. He was like, cause he like gets his pillows all like situated so he can like sit up in bed and watch it. He like moves from like that to then laying like at the end of the bed, like what, you know, whatever. So anyway, I woke up because I was like in my dream. I was like having a dream that somebody was pulling me, and I woke up and Alex's like hand was on my arm, and I looked over like what's going on, like I didn't understand, and he was just like holding my arm. It was real sweet, but anyway, it kind of like freaked me out. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, you know when you wake up in a dream? Have you ever had a dream where like Tanya and I talk about this all the time? Have you ever had a dream? I've mentioned it over here before, but like your spouse or a friend of yours, but typically it happens with like a spouse, like something in your dream they say or do, or something happens and then you're mad at them in the dream, but like you wake up, but it didn't happen in real life, it just happened in their dream, but you're still pissed off at them when you wake up. And you know what I'm talking about? And then you're kind of mad all day long, but you can't let go of it, even though it happened in your dream. But you don't want to say to them, I'm mad at you because I had a dream, because then it sounds crazy. So you're just kind of like, they're like, are you mad? You seem upset today. And you're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But then you call your friend, like I'll call Tanya and I'll be like, Tanya, I'm so pissed at Alex. And she'll be like, why? And I'll be like, I have this dream. And she'll just start laughing because she knows she's had the exact same thing happen to her. This coat is really warm. I have to tell you, this coat is crazy warm. From like Alex said it's the Sherpa inside of it. I guess it is. But anyway, this flannel shirt that I have on is like one of my favorite flannels ever from a thrift store. And I got it like years and years and years ago. There's a huge hole in the back of it, and I don't care because it's so cute. So yeah, we went to brunch today. This is coconut cream with 1 raw sugar in it, and then I also I never at Pas de Choux, like, I shouldn't say never, because then somebody will be like, well, on July 16th of 2019 you did, and then I'll be like, okay. But anyway, rarely do I ever, when I go to Pas de Choux, put creamer in my coffee, but now I'm kind of into the creamer thing. Which, by the way, the conversation about the nut pod creamer in the comment section below, I'm just living for the different opinions about the nut pod creamers. A lot of people have told me that I need to try the Chobani creamer, so I will try that. The next time when Caroline and I go to the grocery store, I didn't need anything today. I am so loaded up on Trader Joe's stuff, and I am so loaded. The only thing I needed was dog food today, and I just kind of wanted to get back and vlog, so he and I could watch movies and I could relax. I'm gonna try to take a walk. It's like it's not windy, but it's like windy enough. I mean, there's people walking outside, but we're gonna see. If not, then I'm gonna try to do it wouldn't kill me to take a day off from walking either. But if I don't, then, the thing is, once I get outside, especially since the other hat that I have, like my ears are really, really cold right now. But, here, let's cover my ears up with a scarf. But once I get outside, oh, what happened to the camera? It just went off. Once I get outside and I have like that ski hat on and stuff like that, like I'm fine walking, even if it's kind of windy. What are we doing here? Nobody can say I'm not committed to this vlog, okay? You cannot say that I'm sitting out here in 25-degree weather. What's so funny about it is, like, when I tell other people, I tell other people about, like, who was I just talking to about it? Oh, this gal at Pas de Choux. She was like, she said something about, what'd you guys do this weekend and whatever, and I was like, I didn't really do a whole lot, and I just, like, you know, did some stuff from home. She's like what? And I was like, oh, like, whatever. And she said, what do you do again? And I said, which is weird because people there, like, some of them watch my videos and stuff, and she's worked there for a long time. And I said, I make YouTube videos. And she's like, you do reviews, right? Because you've reviewed our stuff or something like that. And I said, yeah. And then she, like, looked me up, and the first video that came up was about, like, Trisha Paytas and Colleen Ballinger, and she's like, you cover Trisha Paytas? And I was like, yeah, sometimes I do. And so she was asking me about, like, how I knew. She's like, I have watched Trisha Paytas forever. Talk about 6 degrees of separation. But anyway, when I tell people, like, I sit outside, I think I said something to her about, like, I'm gonna go home, like, and I do a daily vlog out of, and she's like, outside in the cold? And I'm like, yeah, like, when it's cold, I'll sit outside. And I mean, it feels like it is cold, but it does feel kind of refreshing to me. Like, I enjoy this, like, you know, whatever. What's so funny is, like, I'll say to Alex, like, he never says, like, babe, don't you think it's too cold outside? Like, he's totally used to it now. Like, I'll just be like, okay, babe, I'm going outside to vlog. He's like, okay, I'll see you in an hour. Like, it's just totally normal. That, like, normal people just sit outside in 25-degree weather and talk to a camera for an hour. Like, that's just completely normal. It's not normal. There's nothing normal about this. There is nothing normal about this whatsoever. But you can't say I'm not committed. By the way, I have Ugg boots on and these, like, cute green socks. I kind of want to show them to you, because I got them from that brand 3 a.m. latte. Well, I'd have to pull them way up to show them to you. Anyway, I don't know. I got them in, like, all these different colors. Can you guys see these socks? I got them, like, in all these different colors. I got them in, like, brown, and the colors, like, this is called, like, moss or something. And then, look at these Uggs, are so old, and they're, like, wet on the end. But anyway, they don't feel wet. But I have a box of new ones that I bought 2 years ago, and I don't even break them out. But anyway, the socks are called, for people that, like, you have people, they're unisex socks. So for anybody that likes socks, like, they're cute socks. Like, they're really cute. I wouldn't say they're the most comfortable socks in the world, but I think if I wear them a couple times, I might get used to them. I got a 3-pack that's like moss, brown, or maybe I got a 4-pack. It's like moss, brown. Well, the colors are like brown, black, white, like a cream. But they're all called different things. They're all called, like, they're not called, like, brown. They're called, like, latte or something. I don't know. They're, you know, it's like J. Crew, and they're names for colors and stuff like that. But anyway, which is probably one of the reasons why I bought these socks. They're okay. They're comfortable. They're not the most comfortable socks in the world. I really, really, like, for walking, I really like the Bomba socks. Actually, Alex's friend Sarah gave me Bomba socks a couple years ago. And at first I wasn't really about them. But she gave me a pair of walking socks, like, for, like, you know, like running shoes. And then I bought another pair, and I really, really liked those that are, like they come up to, like, your calf to walk in, but they're, like, the dry ones. They stay dry. But then I got a pair these are the ones I've been using recently. I got a pair on Amazon. Well, I got 2 boxes of them, and they're like a half the price of the Bombas, and I think they're better quality. I should probably do a video on my Peter Dust channel of, like, all the things I would really swear by this year. So, that I think is, like, cost efficient. You know what I have not bought? I thought about this. I need to buy it. I thought I had bought it, and I went in and looked, and I hadn't. Were those Santa's natural candles, or whatever they're called, that I absolutely love. Those favorite. I need to buy some of those today. I need to do that today. But, well, I guess I could probably wait a couple days. I have enough candles in there right now. But I love those candles for Christmas. If Christmas comes and goes, and I don't buy any of those candles, I'll be real upset. So this is the coconut cream. I'm about to sneeze. This is the coconut, thank you. This is the coconut cream, which is not my favorite, with 1 raw sugar, and then it's oat milk in there. So anyway, yeah, a lot of people were commenting and saying, like, try the Chobani, try the Chobani. I will try the Chobani. So anyway, Alex had he had a bowl of the turkey chili, and then he had the Cuban, and he brought most of the Cuban home. I had grilled cheese on a waffle, which is like how they make their grilled cheese there. A cup of the tomato artichoke. I was asking her, I was like, you don't really taste the artichoke in there. I mean, they've had it for 40 years, you know. I don't know why I'm just now asking this question. But she said, well, it's like the artichoke puree. And so, anyway, I had a cup of the tomato artichoke soup, and then I get 1 piece of whole wheat bread, because I can't eat 2, and the grilled cheese is, like, too much. So I got 1 piece of heavily buttered, the wheat toast is so good. And then Alex had some Cokes. And then after that, we left. Well, this couple that goes there, they're probably like, I don't know. Oh, she told me how old she is today. They're older than us. Well, older than me. And they come there every Sunday, too. They actually come there like 3 or 4 times a week. But they're always in there when we're in there. And they're super nice. And so we were talking to them today. And when I went and got coffee, they were sitting by the coffee maker. So, like, you go get your own coffee at Patashu. So I was, like, talking to them. And then when they were leaving, they came over and talked to us. And then they were talking to, like, the servers at the counter. And so then we were, like, literally, like, there was one table after us that was there when the 4 of us were leaving. And we all walked out together. They're really nice. We've seen them there for, like, the last 5 years, every Sunday. I know, it feels kind of homey. So anyway, and then I said to Alex, I was like, oh, so then we went to the pet store. I got these. So right now they're eating these. I thought they really, really liked them at first. Now Walter's kind of acting a little bit like he's not really sure about these treats. Like he eats some, but he doesn't seem as excited about them. So we just use training treats. And so I can't remember what the ones before were just like the milk bones, and I would just break them into thirds, these little milk bones, chewy milk bones. Then I can't believe these candles are staying lit, because it's a little windy over here. But anyway, it's a little windy just over here, not over there. Nikki and I were reading the Thanksgiving, which, by the way, Emily, thank you so much for sending me by the same guy that wrote, I bought a haunted Thanksgiving table. He just put out, I think it just came out, I bought a haunted Christmas tree farm. So Nikki and I, we now have 13 advent calendar books. We are so excited about this. I'll talk about this in a second. But Emily, thank you for sending that to me. Emily watches the vlog. Hey, girl, how are you? But anyway, so this brand, have you guys heard of Zooks? I think it's Zooks. It's Z-U-K-E-S. And they have all kinds of treats, but they have like a lot of training treats. Well, Walter and Otis really, really like them. And so, but I had these little Christmas trees. Oh, you know what? Maybe they came in the bark box. Maybe that's why I couldn't find, oh, I bet they did. I'll have to go back and watch that video. Because I couldn't find, I thought, you must have got them at PetSmart, but I couldn't find these Zooks Christmas trees. They loved these Christmas trees. But I couldn't find the little Christmas trees. But they did have like all different kinds of flavored training treats. They're just like little round training treats. So, and I don't have to break them up because they're small enough already. So I got a big bag of those, and then I got 2 bags of their dog food. But every time I go in there, I always buy, like, costumes, and then they never wear them, and they never even wore their Halloween costumes. And like, Alex, he was putting these coats on them, and he was like, I think these coats that were for, like, it's crazy. Well, Walter's tall, but they're both the same length. Like, Otis is, like, squatty and kind of short. But they're, like, I think they're full size now. Like, I don't think they're going to get any bigger than they are. I mean, Walter is very lean, like Boo Radley was, and Otis is kind of like pudgy, like how Tucker was. They're so cute together. But they don't really fit in the clothes that I bought them when they were little puppy babies, you know, little puppy babies. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's the one of the brother and the sister. This is the sister over here. I ran into, or this must be the brother, because he lifted his leg. Well, I guess that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Our dogs don't lift their leg. But anyway, I saw the sister the other day when I was out there walking. So anyway, then we went to the pet store, and then we came home. And then I told Alex, I said, as soon as I get done vlogging, I want to try to walk outside. I think once I get started, especially if I have, like, the hat covering my ears, I'll be fine. And I'm not going to wear these to walk. I'll wear, like, the ones that cover my hands completely. I mean, I think these are cute, and they're nice. But, you know, like, they have the ones that cover it up, and then you can take them on or take them off. Like, that would probably, I think these are cute. Oh, you know where I think I got these at? Fresh Time, actually. I think they're cute, but they're not very, like, to sit out here, I have to have, like, because my fingers are cold. I was really going more for the aesthetic today. Do you get it? Like, the flannel shirt, the jean jacket, the hand crocheted scarf, the mittens. It's the whole aesthetic. Do you get it? Okay. Imagine me, like, by a bonfire in a cozy mystery. There, you just got it. Here's the coffee from the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Why did that crack me up so much? I don't even know. That was so dumb. It cracked me up so much. I am moving so slow in that. Somebody commented on one of my videos the other day, they go, you know, you can kind of just tell from somebody's, like, their tone in the comment. They were like, so you haven't said anything more about that cinnamon bun cap? Like, it's like, it cracks me up. Like, sometimes it does. Like, when people are like, because I said, like, you know, first of all, I'm reading like 10 books right now, okay? Not to mention I'm listening to an audiobook and all kind of stuff. I read because I like to read. I read for fun, okay? So anyway, but somebody made this comment and they're like, yeah, haven't heard anything about that cinnamon bun, because I haven't made it any further in that book. I read like 2 pages a day. I'm reading 10 books right now. People get so bent out of shape. He said he was going to finish on cinnamon. Well, I didn't yet. I don't know what to tell you. It's not that big of a deal. I didn't finish a book. Ah! It cracks me up. It really does. But I'm going to read a little bit of it tonight. My plan was that I wanted to get all those books done before December, so it was just Christmas books in December. But the James Patterson, I still got 6 to go. So I'm going to be listening to some James Patterson, probably. This is my fear, okay, is that I have to get the James Patterson books done by December 31st. Because January 1st, Mel and I are starting our next read-along. So I have to get the James Patterson books done. I'm so over that series at this point. The book seems so repetitive to me. I have 7. I'm almost done with the first October book. Yeah. So I have 3 in October, 3 in November, and then the final one that just came out for December. So I have 7 books to read. Like, if I would just... The problem is, I like to listen to music. Oh my God, what was the song I downloaded last night? It was this gospel song that I love. It was in the show The Leftovers. And then I just downloaded... Well, I tagged it. Because Alex was listening to it in his car. I couldn't believe it was, I Can't Make You Love Me by Cascade, the Bonnie Raitt song. Oh my God. Love it so much. Okay, so where's the new song that I bought that's in The Leftovers? Here's my iTunes right here. Love the iTunes so much. I Must See Jesus by Sister Marie Knight. It's beautiful. I think I heard it a long time ago. But when I heard it in here, I was like, oh my God, maybe it was just the scene it was in or something. I don't know. Little unknown fact. Y'all know I love gospel music. Okay. What was I saying? My walk. Oh, the problem is that when I walk, like, to get motivated, especially in the cold at first, I'm like, just listen to, like, I have this whole, like, I have, like, 3 walking playlists. I have one that's called, like, Runway, when I want to walk, like, real fast, you know? And then I have one that's called, like, Simple Walk or something, and it's all, like, this, not all acoustic, but it's, like, Avett Brothers, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Grateful Dead, all that kind of stuff, Piano Man. It's like slow, Sarah McLachlan, it's like slow stuff. And then I have another walking one that, like, every time I'm, like, walking, like, because a lot of times when I walk, I just shuffle my iTunes. And when it's a song that I'm like, oh, I like walking to this, I just add it to, like, my walking. So I have, like, 3 playlists. Well, when it's cold outside like this, I'm like, just start listening to some music. To be honest with you, my walks are so meditative for me that when I listen to a lot of, like, slower music, sometimes I'll just put on a soundtrack. Like, the Station 11 soundtrack is fantastic to walk to. The Nomadland soundtrack is fantastic to walk to. The To Kill a Mockingbird soundtrack, I love to walk to. The Body Heat soundtrack, I love to walk to the Body Heat soundtrack. Have you ever seen the movie Body Heat with Kathleen Turner? Okay, the soundtrack to it is fantastic. They redid it years ago. Like, this orchestra redid it. Hold on a second. Let me look up albums on here. Album. Just shut me off. I think my phone's getting too cold. Hold on a second. Body Heat. Here it is. This is fantastic album, okay? It's Joel McNeely, John Barry, and the London Symphony Orchestra. Okay, I walk to this a lot. It is fantastic. So I'll just put on, like, a soundtrack to something. I love listening to soundtracks, like, especially, like, orchestral soundtracks. And then I'll just, like, listen to a soundtrack while I'm walking. It doesn't necessarily make me think of the movie a lot of times. I'm not putting my reading glasses in there. It makes me... I gotta put this up a little bit. Hold on. It doesn't make me necessarily... How did I do this? It doesn't necessarily make me... Oh, that's good. Ooh, that's good. That's good, baby. It doesn't necessarily make me think of, like, the movie. It's just kind of like I'm in my head. And it's honestly kind of like... Just like a background track to like what I'm thinking about. But then what happens is I get to thinking about things, and you know, and it's not like always just deep stuff. Sometimes it's like things I want to do this week, like my reading plan, like, oh, I got to call so-and-so. Sometimes it is deep stuff. Sometimes I do think about like, I don't know, like goals I want to achieve, or I'll think about a friend, and I'll think about like something that happened in my past or whatever, you know, or they're just like, I would say like they're very, the camera stopped. They're very meditative and cathartic for me. Like I do like get deep on my walks sometimes. Well, then I don't necessarily want to turn on a James Patterson, Alex Cross book. Like it's just like, that's not super enjoyable for me. So I'm like, that's what happens. And so I'm like way behind these James Patterson books. Well, the problem is that I wanted to go in December, just listen to Christmas books. Now, if I would just dedicate, like, let's say, like, the next 7 days, the James Patterson, Alex Cross books are really easy to listen to. Like, I could bang out one a day. If I literally, for just, like, the next 6 days, listen to one book a day, I'd be done in 6 days. So, and I can sit on here and say that's my plan, and then somebody will say, I thought you were gonna bang them out in 6 days. Ah! Did I just spill that all over me? That's what I get for trying to do the Lord's work. Thank God for a sense of humor. Anyway. So yeah, so tonight I'm gonna walk for a little bit. It'll be a short walk. I've got to like, so I have the whole area. The basement is very organized now. Every once in a while somebody will be like something about like, show us the basement. I'm not showing the basement until the basement is finished. I mean, and I don't mean finished cleaning up. I mean like construction finished. It's just an unfinished basement, you guys. It's literally cement. We have like the furnace and the air conditioner thing is in the middle of it. A washer and dryer to the right when you walk in. Ironing board in the back. It's like all cement walls, cement floor. It's an unfinished basement. And I don't really know what to there's a couch in the far left corner. It's the full length of our condo. So in the corner is this L-shaped, brown, ugly-ass couch that we had in the house that I was growing up in. That even my mom hated this couch. And it's so heavy and it has a pull-out bed on it, and we've never used it here or whatever. But on there are like all of like my photo albums, stuff from like when I was growing up. Like all that stuff is over there on the couch. And that's literally the only thing left I have to go through. Everything else is like, there's no clothes bagged up. There's no clothes. And like, I mean, all the stuff that's down there is like, there's tons of books that still need to be donated. I try to do it a little bit at a time. But it's mostly all pictures and stuff. The rest of the basement is done. Like, it's done. Like, I've gone through everything, organized everything, whatever. I mean, we have, like, some big pieces. Like, I have a grafting table that, like, or is it grafting? Drafting table that was my dad's. And he just liked a drafting table as a desk. And so then when I moved into my first apartment, I got it. And I've kept it all these years. So we have, like, that. I have, like, one of those Papasan chairs from Pier 1 with this big cabinet. It's nothing anybody would want. That we need to, it's like we have a couple big pieces down there of some stuff that we need to have taken away. We had like some Christmas trees and stuff like that. Alex donated those to a halfway house a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean like most of it's cleared out. So the area in front of like the washer and dryer is where I like want to pull over. So the walking pad is like, it's sitting next to this area. What I want to do is, because I like to sit upstairs, like, while I'm doing, like, the weightlifting, which my plan is to start that tomorrow. Like, at least, like, twice a week. And then move it to, like, 3 to 4 times a week, the weightlifting. I like the weights in the kitchen because I can see myself in the mirror downstairs. Or upstairs. But downstairs, like, I have it all, like, pulled over. So arranged so that all I have to do is literally like, it's on its side and I just like pull it over, and then like in front of the washer and dryer, I can just sit there and do the walking pad. There's not really a lot of other areas until we get all this stuff out of like that's there and collected organizations taken out. I don't love the walking pad anyway. I just don't. I would love to have a full-size treadmill, but we don't have that. Maybe when we get the basement done, I'll get a full-size treadmill. But the walking pad's good enough for now. It's okay. It's just like, it's narrow and it's not long. And so I constantly feel like, and I walk fast, and so I feel like I'm going to fall off of it. But I mean, I can get used to it because I'm going to be honest with you, like to walk out in this cold, like I don't mind it, but I would probably walk farther. I think this is the thing. Once I start doing it and I get used to it, I'll be fine doing it. And I like being down in the basement and like, you know, listen to audiobooks and whatever. So I think I'll use it more down there than I would upstairs. I just need to start using it and get used to it. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight will be the night. We'll see. So anyway, and then when we come back, I'm going to take a shower, and then we're going to watch a movie or two, because we're caught up on all of our shows. Oh, last night, I got caught up on a lot of my shows last night. So, and then we're going to watch a movie or two, and then I'll take a nap, and then I'll get up. Tomorrow I'm wanting to film videos on all of my channels. That's my goal for tomorrow, is to film videos. Oh, I'm not going to film any other videos besides my vlog today. But tomorrow my plan is to film videos on all of my channels. I don't really have a lot going on this week. Alex is having dinner with two of his girlfriends on Tuesday night, and that's like the only thing he has this week so far. I may, while he does that, I may go hang out with Tanya. It just kind of depends on my day. So we talked about that the other day. I thought we had marriage counseling this Tuesday, but we have it a week from Tuesday. So that night I'll definitely hang out with Tanya. But depending on what I film and what I don't film on Tuesday, well, I need to talk to Tanya about that. We'll see. Anyway, so when he goes out to dinner with his friends, I might hang out with Tanya. Then he said he doesn't really have anything else. He has like no work commitments this week, he didn't think. So I don't know. I have nothing besides like cousin fun day on Wednesday. That's like literally the only thing that I have going on this week. And filming videos. So I'll film videos most of the week. Oh, but Nikki and I are so excited. I hope some of you guys are excited about it too. So the Great Christmas Read-Along starts tonight at midnight. I am so excited about it. I'm actually on my BookTube channel tomorrow. I'm going to do like a video. This reminds me of, I was telling Nikki this story the other day. It was funny because I was like, have you heard the story? She's like, I've never heard it before. So it reminds me kind of, although I don't feel like it's cheesy anymore, but my first year on BookTube, I was like, before I got on BookTube, I was like obsessed with watching these videos where people would go to like BookCon and all that kind of stuff, and where people, my head is itching, hold on a second, where people would go to like BookCon and all meet up and get the free books and all that kind of stuff, or where people would, well, some of them you buy and some of them are free, but anyway, but where people would like do the read-alongs. I loved like BookTubeathon back in the day, what they used to do. I think that was like the very first one that was the first one I ever did. But then I ended up doing a lot of them. I did Spookathon, which was for Halloween. Books and Lala used to do that, Kayla. There was a lot of them, and there still are a lot of them, and I love those. What's the owl? Little book owl? Is her name Katrina? I can't remember her name. Anyway, she has a whole list of all of the read-alongs. Or she used to, but I kind of switched a couple years ago, and I like watch all different like booktubers now. But anyway, there's actually a lot of like new booktubers that have come out like the last 2 years. There is this gal, and she does, if you look up, I don't know what her name is, but if you look up like Colleen Hoover rant or rave, she'll come up. She literally just sits in a chair by a desk and she talks, and she does like hour-long videos about Colleen Hoover books. She even has a bingo card for like when you like read a Colleen Hoover book, like because they're so problematic, she thinks. Well, I think they are too. But anyway, she has like a bingo card. I don't know what her name is. Why can I not remember her name? I literally watch every single video that she puts out. I watch a lot of BookTube still to this day. I don't mention that a lot in my videos because I know that a lot of people don't watch BookTube, but I love BookTube videos. I love watching hauls. I get so many ideas for books from hauls. What is her name? She is so hilarious. I can see her. She's sitting in like a chair, and then there's like a desk right next to her, and she's always got like a notepad and stuff. She's you can download like somebody that watches her videos made the bingo card. It's like a Colleen Hoover while you read bingo card. It's so hilarious. So anyway, she does like these hour-long rant or raves. She did like, some of the books that I read this year, like, didn't finish it, the Ice Alien Planet Barbarians or whatever. She did like that book. She does all the Colleen Hoover books. But she does like really bad like spicy romance books. Some fantasy on there. Her reviews are unbelievable. Like I love when you watch somebody and they've like just stepped right into their authenticity and their own voice. And you can just tell like that she is like, I don't know, she'd be so much fun to have as a friend and talk to. But there's quite a few booktubers in the last couple years. I just watch her videos. And so hers are called, if you want to check her out, I'll see if I can figure out who she is. Well, the battery just went to the halfway mark. All I have to do is look in my history because I watch all of her videos, so I'll let you guys know. But if you want to look it up tonight, just put in Colleen Hoover rant. You know what? I could probably look it up right now. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm gonna have to change channels and all this kind of stuff because I watch her from my booktube channel. Rant or rave. Or rave. Let's see if it comes up. This is her, isn't it? Why am I not sure if this is her? This isn't her. This is somebody that's kind of like doing something very similar to her. Or maybe it is her. Read, rant, review. Yes, this is her. Here she is. See? It's a bookshelf. It's not a desk, but she sits in that chair. Okay, her name is Read, Rant, Review. Why can't I remember what her name is? She is hilarious, you guys. And, oh, she just did The Boyfriend a month ago. Like, listen to her titles. Hey, so, what the fuck? Please watch and suffer with me. None of This is True by Lisa Jewell, which I loved that book. I don't know how I feel. Let's talk about it. So this is the thing, like, some of the books that she reviews I like, but like her reviews are like, oh my god, I never thought of it that way. Like, that's fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, I finished the worst thriller series ever, You Gotta Hear This, and it's Frida McFadden, The Housemaid, which I like those books. Okay, so Read, Rant, Review. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss her. She is hilarious. She is so good. Honey, the land. Honey, the land. She is so good. I love her. Okay. But anyway, what was I saying? She also has this bingo card. And I said that, didn't I? That you can, like, download. I haven't done it, but you can, like, download it. She always talks about it in there. Somebody that watches her videos, like, made it for her. And you can, like, download this bingo card, like, for the Colleen Hoover books. You know, I've read Verity. I just didn't really get it. I mean, I got it, but I don't really understand, like, what people love about Colleen Hoover. Tanya likes her books. Tanya's like, she's the American Dream. She lived in a trailer. And now I'm like, okay. Like, Tanya, her books. I'm like, honey, the land. I'm like, her books are, like, this is what I'll say to Tanya. I'll be like, her books, like, glorify toxic relationships. And Tanya's like, and so did Danielle Steele. And so did Jackie Collins. And so have millions of people through the years. You know what I mean? Tanya and I actually have some pretty deep conversations about books. Like, I remember when Million Little Pieces came out, and, like, Oprah called that guy out. I can't remember what his name is now. And then he wrote the second book, which is called My Friend Leonard. Tanya loves those books. She loved him when it came out. She didn't care that he lied. She was like, if one person is helped by that book, she was like, it doesn't matter if he's lying or not. She's like, why do we care? She was like, you know, whatever. That's his to do with him. It doesn't mean that it didn't help somebody. Because when I read that book, I was like, oh, like, there's no way. Because he's in detox, and then they take him to the dentist, and then, like, he's got this... I'm like, that would never happen, first of all. And I've been through that kind of detox before, and you're not getting no teeth pulled. So anyway, and then he came out, and Oprah confronted him and said, you're lying about all this kind of stuff. I think I went back and tried to read it years later or something like that. I think maybe I did read it all. I don't know. But Tanya likes the second one. Is it My Friend Leonard? Is that the second one? She really, really likes that book. The first one, Million Little Pieces, she liked too, but... I remember talking about it to her way back when it came out, and she was like, no, it's not authentic to our experience. Because, like, if you read that book, there's pieces of it where if you're in recovery or you went through treatment, you're like, this never happened. Like, you can just tell. But she's like, but if it helped one person or inspired one person to go into treatment, then what's the problem with that? Tanya and I would both agree that probably the best recovery book that we have ever read, Tanya actually read it and then she recommended it to me. And it came out probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it was called Blackout, Remembering the Things I Drank to Forget. Do you know what I just remembered? This is so bizarre. But before I get into this, I should probably say that last night, so I got caught up on Elsbeth, Survivor, Amazing Race, Elsbeth, Matlock. Oh, Matlock wasn't on last week, I found out. So I watched Elsbeth. So I'm caught up on all my shows except for Below Deck Mediterranean. But as I'm sitting here talking about, like, recovery and all this kind of stuff, I'm thinking, you know, tomorrow is the 1st. And I was like, oh, it's like 17 days away from my sobriety birthday, because my sobriety birthday is December 17th of 1994. Which is, like, surreal to me. Like, You know, we don't borrow time in recovery. What that means is, like, I don't say, like, I don't know that I've ever really explained that before, but, like, what that means is we don't borrow time. Like, if somebody comes to a meeting, okay, I know a lot of people are going to be like, this is rude, but this is just how it is. Like, you get your coin, you get your keychain on your birthday. Like, we don't borrow time. So if somebody, like, let's say, comes to a meeting, and this happens quite a bit, like, people do this, and they'll say, like, let's say it's a Monday, and they'll say, on Wednesday, I'll have 30 days. Like, people won't really say a whole lot. They'll be like, well, come back on Wednesday, we'll see you then. Like, they won't give you a keychain or a coin. They will not. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen it happen in 31 years. They'll tell you to come back on Wednesday, and if the person is confused, they'll say, well, you need to come back on Wednesday, because on Wednesday you'll have 30 days. So that's why we don't borrow. We have just for today. We have a daily reprieve. And it's also a way of, like, kind of focusing on, like, well, me having as many days as I have today is really no different or better than me having 31 years. You know, like we say in recovery that the person that gets up the earliest is the person that has the most time of sobriety. I'm a little bit of a believer of that. Like, I do think, like, my life, like, at 30, almost 31 years looks completely different than what it did when I got sober. I think, oh no, that wasn't. That must have been the other woman. You better walk on by with your hood all up. I thought somebody else was walking him, and it must have been...
I want to make sure he's actually pooped.
Okay, well, I thought it was the other... You know who it is. The other woman that has the same dog. It must be her son, her son or something. Well, stay warm.
I'm freezing.
You're freezing. You better stay warm. Make him poop. Bye. She's got her hood up and stuff. It was the other dog, because there's, like, 2 dogs that look exactly the same in the neighborhood. But anyway, you know, I mean, there's this sentiment that, like, if you've got 5 days sober and I have 30 days sober, that our sobriety is no different. Whoever gets up earliest is the most sobriety and whatever. And I like that. I like that sentiment. I think that kept me going a lot in early recovery. The reality is, though, like, my life at 30 years sober looks completely different than it did at 30 days sober. I mean, like, for me, it's just so integrated into my life as being a person in recovery, and the language that I speak and how I move in this world and the way that my perspective and how I see things. You know, it's interesting because as soon as that came out of my mouth, that first statement, like, my life looks completely different at 30 days than it does at 30 years. My second thought on that was, there's a lot about those first 30 days that I kind of miss. There's kind of a magic about early sobriety. I don't think it's just about sobriety. I think it's about anything. You know, I think it's about starting college or a new job or going to a new church or getting involved in, like, art classes or whatever. Like, those early days are just, like, you feel so filled with excitement and passion, you know, that, like, you're just like, oh my God, I'm so excited about all this. I think also, like, the spiritual aspect to it, I did feel. I felt, for a very, very long time, I felt completely empty. Completely empty. And so I think when I started going to meetings, and I would leave meetings, and I can remember thinking to myself, this must be how people feel when they go to church, and I've never experienced that before, because I did feel like, I mean, I don't even really know how to explain it, just like, like, I felt happy, I felt glowing, I felt, most importantly, hopeful. I never really felt that before having had an experience, if that makes sense. Like, the only way I could equate it is when somebody goes, because it's very similar. You go to a meeting, you know, and you listen to somebody speak, and then you leave the meeting, and there's a spirit, you close with a prayer if you so choose, and things like that. So it does feel like a spiritual ritual to some degree, although it's not a denominational ritual. So I think in my head, I kind of compared them. Well, I had never had that kind of response to a religious experience, even though I grew up going to church. And I think I had always sought after that. I think I had always sought after having some kind of enlightened feeling. But all of a sudden, I'm going to meetings, and I'll tell you right now, it wasn't like the first meeting, it wasn't the 5th meeting, I don't even know when it happened. Although, like, as I'm saying that, like, in my head, I remember it was after I got out of treatment, but it was very soon after I got out of treatment, and I went to a lot of meetings at the treatment facility that I went to, that I got sober at, which I later worked at. And I remember there was a guy So if I was 22 and a half when I got sober, this guy was probably about 25 or 26. He was just a couple years older than me. And he had been sober for like 3 or 4 years. And he spoke, and it was like a Sunday, they used to have this Sunday morning breakfast club meeting. They would call it the breakfast club meeting. Or no, that's a different place. They would call it the donut meeting. And so, I heard him speak, and I can remember he was like, I don't know, like real athletic and sporty and stuff like that. And I kind of was like, I'm not going to relate to his story at all. And his story was very similar to mine. And I remember him saying something to the effect of, he would put anything in his mouth, hoping that it changed. Like he would put alcohol, pills, whatever, cocaine in his system, hoping that it would change his mood, his outlook, his personality, if you liked him better or didn't, or his having to deal with things. But he was never willing to give, like, God a chance. Like, he put anything in his life except for God. That was kind of a turning point for me when I heard him say that, you know? And he was like, how did he say it? He was like, if I'm going to take advantage of drugs and alcohol, then I'm going to take advantage of, like, not take advantage of. How did he say it? I've said, I'll remember as soon as I get off here. Tanya and I have had this conversation so many times because I've told her this story. But basically, like, if I'm willing to put all this other stuff in my system that can kill me, why would I stop at God? Like, why would I not be willing to, like, have some spiritual experience in my life? I think that really made me a little bit more open to it. I don't know why I always kind of go to that speaker when I think about it. I don't know. You know, today my sobriety is very important to me. It's like it's weird how I look at it today versus how when I got sober. Because when I got sober, it was almost like if you would have said to me, like, how's your sobriety? Which I don't know what I think about that statement anyway, but that's a whole deeper conversation. If you're sober, you'll know what I mean by that. But anyway, like, I'm not a believer in, like, my program. There's the program. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, I think when I first got sober, I was like, I feel like I was working towards something. And I don't even know that I really knew what that was. Like, whether that was 30 days, it was a days. I don't even know that in the early days I acknowledged that it was like a feeling or a state of being or accomplishing anything. It was like, if I can just make it to 30 days, if I could just think it to 60 days. That is why the coins and the keychains are important, because I can remember people would get them and I'd be like, I want that. I can do that. I can achieve that. And I think that that's why it was so important early on. To me today, like, yeah, I love to celebrate my birthday and I'll get a coin and all that kind of stuff, but, like, it doesn't mean the same to me as it did early on. Being with my sponsor and my friends and spending the evening with them and all that kind of stuff, giving hope to other people that they can do it too, that's important to me. But it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same way as, you know, it used to and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. So, I think because it's just such a part of my life today, you know? Not that it's not important to me. It is important to me, but it's just not, not the same way. You know, like, I don't, like, today my sobriety is just so interwoven into everything that I do in my life. It is such an integral part of my life, how I view the world, my perspective, the language that I speak. I mean, it's literally in everything I do. And talking about resentment and amends and love and kindness and compassion. And I'm constantly thinking about steps and traditions. And it's how I speak. It's how there's no way for me not to. It's such a huge part of my life. And, you know, the majority of people in my life are sober. I mean, most of the people that I talk, you know, the people that I talk about on here are like, you know, like, well, Tanya, but she is, but you guys know her. You know, there's a lot of people in my life that just don't want to be on camera. You know, like Alex, Nikki, and Mel, no, they're, you know, like, but that I talk about them on camera, but, like, a lot of people, like, they don't want to be mentioned on camera, and or I haven't even asked them just out of respect for them. So there's people that I'm really, really close to on the level of, like, you know, like Nikki, Tanya, Mel, you know, not Alex, because he's my husband, but, you know, that I've never really mentioned before that I talk to. Well, not really probably as much as Tanya, but, like, that I talk to on a pretty regular daily basis. That back in the day I just said, like, a sober friend. Now I just don't even really talk about it anymore. I don't know. It's just like my sobriety is different today. It's like, it's just such a part of who I am. And I think I think that's where, and honestly, I don't know that it was really like that 15 years ago, before I came back into the rooms of recovery. I think me really talking about emotional sobriety, when that was brought to my attention, and emotional sobriety is, who are you once you put down the drug and the alcohol? Like, are you a bitter, angry person? Are you still reacting the same way that you were drinking and drugging, but like you've just removed the substance? And I think for many years, yes, I was that. I think for many years, I just removed the substance from my life, but I was still a really angry, bitter person. And when I came back into the rooms of recovery and I really started taking a look at that, like, it changed everything for me. I had a spiritual foundation that I hadn't had in years and years and years. And I had a different perspective on life, and I had a different outlook on life that I really hadn't looked at like that in quite some time. And so no, and I don't know that even that I would have really understood that in year 1 or 2 or 5. Like, I don't know that I would have gotten that. I think I had to live through those experiences, and I think I had to, like, not be in meetings, just for me. I'm not saying for everybody else, but just for me. I had to step away and not go to meetings for a while. I didn't use, thank God. I don't know if I would have used during that time, if I would have ever made it back, in all honesty. But, like, to not come to meetings for a while and realize how distant I felt, not just from 12-step programs, but from God. That was my electrical cord to God, to spiritual foundation, to emotional sobriety, of which I did not have. So when I came back into meetings, it was a slow unwinding of that. It was, my hands are starting to get really cold. It was a slow unwinding of that. It was getting to know who I am all over again, you know? And that doesn't just have to be a recovery thing. I think you can go through a divorce and figure that out. You can have your kids leave for college. You can have suffered great loss of somebody passing in your life, have a career change. And I think it's like an unwinding of who I thought I was for all these years. Maybe this is a time to rediscover who I am again. I can tell you right now that my sobriety today is 10 times more important to me than it was 15 years ago. Oh, like, I'm deeply passionate about it. I talk about it in a way that I never did 15 years ago. Yeah, it was what I did, and, you know, when I worked in treatment, and, well, that was 18, 19 years ago, but, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of people in my life, but, like, the 4 years that I stepped away, there were a lot of parts of those 4 years that I was like, I don't think I'll ever go back to meetings again. And then I came back in, and, like if Tanya were here, she'd say, you came back in like a newcomer. I did. I was going to 2 meetings a day, 7 days a week. I was going to, like, 14, 15 meetings a week. You know, knew everybody, and, like, going to all different kinds of meetings, and really had to step out of my comfort zone, and it was great for me. And it was great to come back in like a newcomer, and I recommend that to anybody. You know, I heard a lead at that time that somebody said, I heard it online, that somebody said, it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. And I can remember hearing that and thinking, I don't ever want to be in that place. The battery is flashing. Hold on a second. I'm going to put the other battery in. Hold on. Give me just a second. I wish I could have filmed that for you guys, what just happened, because, I mean, first of all, unwinding the camera off the tripod was so slow, and then doing the battery is like everything, it's like ice fishing. It is like so cold out here, it was like ice fishing, but it's kind of fun sitting out here. I sat out here and watched the holdovers like 2 years ago, and it was so cold that night that I sat out here, and that's still to this day like one of my, like, favorite memories of life. Now, you know what? I knew exactly what I wanted to say before I stopped that. No, I don't remember. I was talking about sitting in the middle of the wagon. I heard this lead online. Is that what I was talking about? It was one of the, like, right when I first came back into going to meetings again. And I heard this lead online. You know, people talk about falling off the wagon, drinking and using. And they said, and this woman said, it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. Meaning that, like, if you visualize that, like, sitting in the middle of a wagon, you're not going to fall off the side of it, right? Okay. And for me, it's weird because, like, or it's not weird, but it's interesting because I always think about this one Halloween, Alex and I and 2 of his friends and Tanya, we went to Conner Prairie, this settlement place, and they have the Headless Horseman thing there. And so we went there, and we did, like, you do this wagon through the woods, and the Headless Horseman follows you. I always think of that whenever I tell this story about it's hard to fall off the wagon. But I remember that, and I remember thinking, you know, in early sobriety, I was told, if you want what they have, do what they do. And I thought, if you really want this kind of sobriety, it is getting really cold. If you really want this kind of sobriety, then you have to sit in the middle of the wagon. that was such a pivotal point for me of like reaching out my hand and getting to know people. That was not comfortable. I had to do a lot of things that were really uncomfortable for me at that time. I had to step outside my comfort zone. I had to shake people's hand, introduce myself to people that I did not know. During that period, I made some of the greatest friends I've ever had in my entire life to this day, that I still talk to on a regular basis, because we just, you know, I also really had the benefit at that time of seeing a lot of people get sober. And what I mean by that is that I was going to so many meetings that people now that have like 15, 14 years, like I saw them all come into their first meeting, or however long ago that was that I was going, 12, 13 years ago that I came back. I saw them like for the next 5 years, I saw them come to their first meeting. I can remember a lot of those people coming to their first meeting at a noon meeting and shaking. You know, we don't see a lot of wet alcoholics and addicts in meetings anymore. What that means is that somebody that like literally comes in and they've been using until they came to a meeting. When I got sober, we saw a lot of that. We saw people that were drinking in cars and they would walk into a meeting. They were drunk in a meeting. And, but you don't see that as much anymore. But I can remember like people coming to meetings and like they would talk about they woke up and like something horrible had happened and they just were like, I'm done. Like last night was the last night, and they've been sober ever since. That is such an honor and a privilege to see somebody get sober. And it's such an inspiration too, you know, that you look at them and now, you know, they've fixed relationships in their life. They're talking to their kids again, you know, like they have new relationships, they have new jobs, they're happy, they have a smile on their face. Not always, but most of the time. You know, they have a well thought out response to things. They don't like get angry and resentful and mad all the time, you know? Like I remember this guy that got sober. He's a good friend of mine. And he's a huge like Ohio football fan, and he would talk about, I can remember him talking to me about watching like he would drink, and when he watched like Ohio games, he'd like throw his phone and the remote at the TV to the point where like the remote and the phone broke, and he broke the TV one time. And so like now, when I see him, I'm like, any broken TVs? He is the calmest, most peaceful person in the world. We want to break it down and make it out to be that it's all about like drinking and drugging, but it has very, very little to do with it. Like even in our basic text, it says that drinking is but a symptom of this disease. It has very, very little to do with it. It's really about who we are as people, you know, and a lot of these things, like my dad is such a believer that so many of the traits that I had as a little kid, you know, and long before I ever picked up. Which is where I believe that there is a genetic predisposition. I feel like this is starting to go out. Maybe it's because the sun's starting to go down a little bit. But which is where there's like a genetic predisposition to it. Because like, I mean, my dad would say to me as I got older, he'd be like, I can remember you like at 4 years old. And, you know, I don't know, just like different things that like were inherent to who I was as an active alcoholic and addict too. But, you know, it's interesting because if you've watched my vlog for a long time, like, my first couple years, like, so Thanksgiving that last year, my dad actually called me and said, you're not invited. And your Aunt Kathy wanted me to tell you that you're not invited to her house, too, because they thought it would cause such a scene being drunk or using. And so, I didn't go to Thanksgiving that year. And I can remember going through White Castle and crying and she ended up giving me all my food, because I was like, no, my family didn't even want me. She gave me my food, like, free, and I can remember like going over to my friend's house later on Thanksgiving Day. We were all going out and they had all like brought plates for me because they felt bad for me and stuff like that. It was my own doing. Like my family didn't want me around because they were so worried that I was going to cause such a scene drunk, you know? And then I got sober on the 17th. From Thanksgiving to the 17th, I mean, that was the darkest of the darkest for me. Like, I mean, it was like, you know, like people online, like these influencers were like, it was a really dark time. I mean, I don't even remember some of those days. I remember waking up to like, how I didn't burn myself down. I mean, I remember waking up to like, I had this huge glass ashtray. I still have it in there because I like to remind myself of it. And it was this huge glass ashtray that had been my mom's. And it would just be turned over in the bed. There'd be 30 cigarette butts, ashes everywhere, turned over bottle of Jack Daniels in the bed. It was just disgusting. It was just, I mean, it was so gross. I would like order a pizza or call somebody and tell them to come over, and I would prop the door open, and I'd wake up the next day at like 1 o'clock and the door would still be, I have no clue if people came or went. I had no idea. I mean, how I am still here is beyond me. It just was bad time. I like from Thanksgiving to like the 17th, I was perpetually pretty much in a blackout. Like, there's parts of those days that I remember, but like there's a lot that I don't remember. And I don't, I used to, like, when I first got sober, I was like, I remember talking to my first therapist and talking about the idea of, in recovery, talk about more will be revealed. And I thought that really meant in early recovery, like more, like you'll remember, I can remember hearing that and thinking like that means that like you're going to remember more things as you go on. Well, that's not necessarily what it means. And I remember he said to me, your mind, he said he believed that your brain and, your mind remembers things if it's supposed to or when it's supposed to, and some things you're never going to remember again. And there's things that have happened during blackouts that I have never remembered to this day, and I don't know that I want to. I don't think that's what more will be revealed means. I think more will be revealed means you have a better understanding of things down the road. But yeah, I can remember like my first couple years vlogging, and I would talk about, I don't know, I just don't think I had really come to terms with it yet. About those years later, if you remember, I just like really had a hard time with like now until when I got sober. And I would be like, oh my God, like 30 years ago today, I was like wasted. I don't feel that way today. Like this is a very, I did that, and then I went through a period where it didn't really mean anything to me. It'd be like 1 year I really struggle with it, the next year I wouldn't really struggle with it at all. And now I feel a lot of hope. Like the weeks leading to my sobriety, I like every day I'm like listening to a lead online. I feel really, really, really like really into sobriety, like leading up to my sobriety birthday. Like I get very excited and inspired by it. Like I don't know, it's just I think like I look back on that period in my life and I think like I'm still here, and so many people are not, and so many people have passed away. And, or locked up and incarcerated, or still out there suffering. I don't know why me, I don't, and I think I questioned that for a long time too. And I remember watching the woman, I've shared this story so many times, but it was the year, this must have been like shortly after I got sober, because it was the year that Schindler's List won for Best Picture, and, the same year, a documentary about the camps won, and they gave it to this woman that was like a survivor, and they gave the Oscar to her and let her accept the award, and she said, for 50 years, I've asked myself every single day, like talking about her family and friends that had died, and she said, for 50 years, I've asked myself every single day, why me? I am no different. And I can remember thinking about that, not like the experience is anything the same, but in reference to being sober, like, why me when so many other people didn't make it, or so many other people were never even introduced to a 12-step program or a MAP program or church or whatever the different ways are that people get sober today? Why me, and why did it stick with me? It didn't stick with me for like, this was my 5th treatment. There was many times I tried. Why did it stick with me and not somebody else? I really don't know. I don't know what the special recipe is at that time. Maybe it was my age, maybe it was my dad was done. But I don't really think so. I don't really know. I wish, sometimes I wish I could pinpoint that exact moment. I've talked about the pickle lady story. I've talked about my New Year's Eve, where the guy was like, my friend that's since passed away was like, why don't you, I was wanting another Michael Crichton book, and he's like, why don't you try this, and threw down the basic text. I remember reading that, but I don't know that, like, I've talked about getting my 6-month token and standing in the parking lot and feeling like I've never done anything for 6 months consistently, let alone stay sober. But I don't know that I can pinpoint the exact moment where I was like, I am done. I feel like I've had multiple of those moments, but I don't know that I can pinpoint the exact moment for me where I was like, I'm done. Like my mom did. We had those conversations. My mom would say, oh, she knew it. She knew when she was done. And she believed that the desire to use had been lifted from her. I hope I don't ever drink and use again. I'm not going to say that it doesn't ever sound good to me. I'm not going to say that it doesn't ever, that it doesn't ever enter my mind, because that would be a lie. And I used to say, I wish that I didn't feel that way. I think Tanya's taught me more than anybody about that, like, that it's natural for us. But like my mom truly believed that the desire to use had been lifted. Maybe her experience is different than mine. I don't know. You know, but Tanya will say, do I ever think about like a beer on the beach? Hell yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like, there's no shame in that. I think it's a reminder for me, because then what I do is I run the tape through my head and I think, okay, but this is why it doesn't work for you. Or this is why maybe it works for somebody else. And I mean, people ask me all the time about smoking pot, whatever. There's a lot of people that can smoke pot. There's a lot of people that can do all kinds of things. I'm not one of those people. And you just have to know who you are. I wish I was one of those people. I wish I could smoke pot from time to time or have a drink every once in a while. I don't know if I really do, to be honest with you, the older I get. Because here's the thing, for me, and this is where my mind is so completely different than everybody else's. Like, I don't just want to take a hit off a joint and be like, oh, that's like, here, let's laugh a little bit. I want to be stoned. I want to be baked all day long. Like, I don't want to just have like a drink and get a good little buzz going for like, you know, a little while. Like, I want to be drunk. Like, there's got to be purpose to it. That has never changed in my mind. That from almost 31 years ago to now, that has never changed for me. I do not, just like people don't understand why we don't just stop, I don't understand why people would have one margarita. It makes no sense to me. Why would you not just have a Diet Coke? I don't get it. Like, if you're going to just drink one, you're not going to get the full effect. Like, I do not understand that. I don't. Like, I just don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that has never changed for me. And I think that probably right there is the core of what's different between an addict and an alcoholic. Like, I've had so many people look at me and be like, why couldn't you just stop? Like, you know, just have like, can't you just have like 1 or 2 beers? And I'm like, why would you? And then my answer to that is, but why would you ever want to just have 1 or 2 beers? Like, you know, and I think that's like where like you either are or you aren't kind of thing, you know? Like, I don't know. But then that's where you realize it's really not about the drink. Because then, if you're wanting to get to that point of inebriation or highness where you just are muted or not thinking about things, and isn't that just an escape? You know, like my sponsor and I were talking, like, this was like a year ago. We were having this conversation one night, and she was like, I just want to, like, she's like, let's just pack our bags and go to the airport and take whatever. And I was like, okay. And she was like, no, I'm like, she started laughing, but she's like, I would love to. And I said, what? And she's like, just go to the airport, pack our bags, go to a beach, and just be on a beach for like 2 weeks. I said, it sounds great. And she goes, but see, when I'm having these thoughts, she's like, I have to be careful because that's me wanting to escape. And I go, okay. And so she was talking about inventory and stuff. And she's like, for me, that's where I know that I have to get an inventory. This is all a lesson for me because I had made some comment earlier in the week about like, let's just escape. And she goes, so then my question for you is, what are you wanting to escape right now? You know, she's like, yes, it would be fun to go get it. There's no shame in wanting to get on a plane and go to a beach. But if like that's your thought and you're obsessing over it, then is it about the trip or is it about escape? You know, then what you need to deal with is still take the trip if you want to, but like, what's the escape? What are you trying to escape from? Well, when you break it down and it's no longer about the drugs or the alcohol, then it's about the escape. Then it's about trying to move past all of that. I got to be real careful of that stuff, you know, and think it through. I'm so grateful for my sobriety today. Everything that I have. This is why I can remember early sobriety, people telling me like, you always have to make your sobriety a priority. Like, sobriety has to come before everything. Like, it's like God that gives you sobriety, and then everything else. And I've said that for years, and people are like, oh no, like people in my videos will be like, no, like my family comes first, my husband, whatever. Well, I wouldn't have my husband if I wasn't sober. I wouldn't have YouTube. I wouldn't be making videos out here in the cold with this stupid scarf all over my head. Looking like, I don't know. It looks stupid, but it's keeping my ears warm. So thank you, Mel, for making this scarf. If it was Mel, I wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't have the dogs. I wouldn't have these experiences with. I wouldn't have Tanya. I wouldn't have my other friends. I would not have anything if I was out there using it. I probably wouldn't be alive right now. You know, and that's a scary thought to me. So I have to remember that, and I have to remember where I came from. Which is why I always have to prioritize my sobriety. My higher power comes first because my higher power gives me my sobriety, and then everything else. It's why every night in my prayers, I thank God for another day alive, but then I also thank God for my health, my sobriety, my life, and my health. Or my life, my sobriety, and my health, in that order. Yeah, it's just like, and I'm glad that I heard that early on, to prioritize my sobriety. All right. Now, I know these are the kind of conversations y'all love, and I'm getting cold, so I'm going to go inside. But I did want to say, I'm now on episode 6 I think halfway through episode 6 of The Leftovers. So I got online last night and I was reading these articles about it. I think they were like different threads and stuff. People were talking about it and people were like, this is the greatest show ever. And other people were like, people say this is the greatest show ever, but is it the greatest show ever? And yesterday I was like, I don't really understand about this show. I love it. People are comparing it to Lost, which is probably, honest to God, one of my top 3 favorite shows of life. I loved Lost. It does feel like Lost, to me. It's about these people, like, it's 3 years after all these people have just, like, disappeared from the planet. And, like, kind of how they go on after that. People are like, if you can make it past the first 3 or 4 episodes or past the first season, like, it is, like, such a game-changing show. I like it. Like, to be honest with you, like, I watched it last night. I watched, like, 2 or 3 episodes. 2 episodes, I think, when I watched it last night. I really enjoy it. I just don't really know where it's going. Now that so many people compared it to Lost, I don't feel like I need to know where it's going. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I enjoy it. I think the writing is fantastic. The acting is unbelievable in it. But it is very much a slow burn. So I'm going to finish the first season. People are like, if you can get through the first season, the second and third season are, like, masterpieces. So... but I don't think it's bad. It's just very, very slow. And I also want to start the Mistletoe Murders on Prime or Hallmark or whatever. Okay, I'm getting off here now, you guys, because I am so cold out here. I can't even believe I made it over an hour. I have no idea how long because I changed battery, but I can't believe I made it over an hour out here. The candles made it over an hour. Look at my little cute little mittens. Oh, it just went out without me even blowing on it. So anyway, we'll do this one. This one is like bonfire. There we go. I hope you guys, ooh, what is on there? Okay. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. I hope you're getting refreshed, renewed, relaxed, and rejuvenated for the week ahead. I love you guys. It's going to be a great week this week. And tomorrow is the first day of December. Can you believe it? Last month of the year. Do you know what starts next month? My 10th year of vlogging. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.